Hello, I'm Laura Knights, CEO of Knights Consulting, creator of BlackWomanLeading.com, and the host of Black Woman Leading, the podcast. This podcast amplifies the needs and experiences of Black women leaders in the workplace with a holistic focus on three core areas: leadership development, mental wellness, and relationship management. Our ultimate aim is to help Black women learn, heal, and grow in their leadership capacity. Hey there, before we jump into the next podcast episode, I want to share two quick announcements with you. We are just weeks away from the 2025 Black Woman Leading Live Conference and Retreat. It's taking place May 27th through the 30th, 2025 in Virginia Beach. Now, this is our third annual event, and if you haven't heard, this event is the premier leadership development conference to help Black women learn, heal, and grow in their leadership capacity. Now, this is not just an event, it's an experience designed by Black women for Black women. Listen, the Black Woman Leading team, along with our dynamic guest experts that will be there, are going to help you through the hard work and the head work to clarify your career growth strategy, work on refining your leadership skills, and make a plan to tend to your mental wellness and self-care while you are doing all of that. So activities include workshops, panels, wellness breaks, laser coaching, networking, action planning, all of that. Past attendees have shared that this event has been transformative for them and has helped them make critical shifts to take not only their career, but their life to the next level. You need to be in the room, okay? So we have less than 25 seats left until we sell out. So make a plan to get there, talk to your employer, do whatever you got to do and be there with us, okay? You can get all the details and sign up, save your seat at www.bwlretreat.com. And my second announcement for you. Now our full podcast episodes are on YouTube. So you want to see my beautiful face, you want to see the face of our brilliant guests and catch the vibe as we're really having these dynamic conversations. Subscribe to the Black Woman Leading YouTube channel and you can watch the full episodes of the season there. So head on over there and subscribe. So welcome everyone. Today we are talking about becoming financially unstoppable with Breanna Colón. Welcome, Breanna. We are so excited to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to get into all this juicy goodness today. But first, let me give you all the official about Breanna. So Breanna Colón is the founder of Integrity Financial Solutions Incorporated and the managing partner of Right Time Financial LLC. She is a dynamic and driven financial strategist, two-time author, and professional speaker with roots in Augusta, Georgia, currently living in Washington, D.C. Breanna and her team bring over 20 years of combined financial industry experience to help individuals and families achieve financial freedom. She is passionate about personal finance and she offers more than just advice. She creates a transformative journey for families. Her mission is to instill confidence towards financial success with honest, customer-first service. Armed with a bachelor's degree in management and accounting, her expertise spans retirement planning, college savings, insurance, investments, mortgages, and budgeting. Host of Your Life, Your Money with Breanna Colón podcast, she has inspired audiences nationwide, speaking at churches, seminars, conferences, and women's events, where her energy and insights leave a lasting impact. As an author of the books, The Secrets of Saving Money, Experiencing the Unlimited, and 10 Tips for Success in Life, and she's currently working on her third book, y'all. She shares practical strategies and inspiring stories to empower others on their financial journey. So you all know I always say our guests have the receipts, as you can see from Breanna's bio. So why this topic, becoming financially unstoppable? Of course, we'll talk more about what that means. But if this season is about driving the narrative of your career, of course, your career growth is not only to satisfy your goals and all these aspirations you have for yourself, it's also to make money, okay? Mm-hmm. And for you to have a financial legacy for your family. So if we're driving the successful careers, but don't know what to do when we get the higher salaries or we get the promotions or we get the bonuses. Are we really winning, y'all? No, we are not. So that's why I wanted to do this and bring an expert to talk to us about this. So before we get into the meat of being financially unstoppable, I always have to start, Breanna, with asking our guests a little bit about you. So can you share a bit about, from your vantage point, what does the phrase Black woman leading mean to you? And share a little bit about your journey as a Black woman leading and how you came to do this current work.
Okay. So Black woman leading to me means change maker. It's an opportunity to make a difference because there are not enough of us in that space compared to our male counterparts. So for me, I actually started out as a leader at the age of 14 and as a choir director and a musician. So that was actually my first leadership role with the youth choir and then kind of working my way up. So the music side of things, I have been a leader of both youth and adults for well over 20 plus years. I don't want to tell my age too much here, but, but a very long time. But so I became a leader before I got into the financial, actual full-time career. But even now, having been now in the industry, financial industry for over 20 years, it's actually 22 years this year, it has definitely not come without its challenges because it's a not only male dominated industry, but also a white male dominated industry. And so it's that much harder. We have to work that much harder to prove ourselves. In fact, one of the companies that we have a contract with, I get an award from them almost every year. But what I noted about getting the award is that this is regionally. I am the only Black female all the time.
Wow.
All the time, except for 1 year. There was 1 year that I saw another Black female up there. But that's really saying a lot because then I have other Black women that are coming up to me that are in the room. They're like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you." Da da da. But we have to work that much harder to be able to move ahead. Throughout this process of being a business owner, I have had challenges of just people credibility from a credibility standpoint. A lot of times I've had people that will walk up to me and say, if they find out I own a business or I run a company, the first question is, well, do you have an office or do you work from home? Well, why is that the automatic assumption that my business is so small that I might actually be just working from home? I have a little side hustle and not an actual company. But yet if we ask a male tells you that he owns a company, that's not even a thought. It's like assumed that, oh yeah, he probably has an office, that type of thing. And it would just really get under my skin when people would ask me those types of questions that I'm like, why can't I just have an office and run a corporation? What's the problem? Yep. So I had to, over the years, really make sure I stay on top of my knowledge game and understanding the value that I bring to the table. That was really the game changer. Until I valued myself, how can I expect other people to value my expertise or value what I bring if I don't feel that confident in my own right? And allowing the things that are happening around me or the questions that come to me, I can't allow that to weigh me down. I have to still push forward because I know what I'm capable of. And so once I did that mental process of shifting, that was really the game changer that went from people just stringing along my time or not showing up for appointments to now people are like, are you taking any more clients? Do you have any availability? I know you're busy without me even saying I'm busy. Oh, I know you're busy. Do you have room? So it took a lot to get to this point. And not that I arrived because we're constantly evolving and growing and changing, but I'm absolutely grateful for how God has blessed us to change the lives of many financially and still going.
Wow. And you know what, that question to me, like I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years now, and I've had office space that I pay rent for every month. And now I pay more people without an office space that are on the team. It's like, in this day and age, really, you can run a multi-million-dollar operation from your kitchen table. That's what you into.
That's right.
It shows that it's not really about that. It's about people trying to discount or investigate your business at the end of the day. But I'm excited for you, like that you are still standing, growing, writing books and helping people become financially unstoppable. So let's jump into that, because I got this term, y'all, from Breanna. Y'all know I come up with these titles. We had a meeting to talk, and I'm like, oh, what you just said? Yeah, let's just call it that. So these are your words, Breanna. What does it mean to you to be financially unstoppable? And you talked about this trajectory of your career. How did this philosophy shape your career?
So it's being financially unstoppable is being able to live life on your own terms, being able to do what you want when you want. That's like the common theme for our clients that come in the door. Many are middle income earners who feel like they make good money, but they're not doing everything, not rocking out financially the way they should be. Yeah. But ultimately, whatever goal they come in the door with, I want to be able to retire. I need to be able to eliminate some debt. I want to be able to invest, whatever the reasons are, all of it leads to the same thing, which is they want to be financially free. Because if they are, then all of these goals can be accomplished. Those are all just minor in the major. The major is I need to be financially free so I can do these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So for me, it was about learning strategy over the years. How can I make it to where people on whatever income they're on can still thrive and be well financially? To dispel the myth that you have to be rich to be free financially. Yeah. Some people feel like, oh, well, if I just make more money, then I'll be doing fine financially. No, that's not it. As soon as I pay off these debts, then I'll be able to do X, Y, Z. It's all tied together into our money behavior. So I wanted to make it to where we learn little things that we don't pay attention to, because the marketing is so driven to have us doing certain things that everybody does things the way they do them without even thinking about it. And I could go down a list of how we do things. I'll give you one quick example, which would be refinancing. When people refinance, one of the main reasons they refinance, I lowered my rate, I'm saving X amount of dollars, and It's all about the marketing. You're going to save $200 a month. You're going to save $300. But are we really saving? Not really. We might, on the surface, it looks like we're saving $200 or $300 a month, but we just tacked on $10,000, $15,000, and so forth, added on to our balance. What are we doing? Years. It's all in how we are programmed. How do we expect to be financially free unless we raise our financial awareness? So in my book, The Secrets of Saving Money, that one is full of tips and strategies for how to save money on your everyday expenses, from mortgage to gas or groceries or shopping, whatever it is. In fact, most recently, I've developed some other strategies for travel, because I love to travel. Yeah. And I decided, when we're talking about being financially unstoppable, I decided that I wanted to be able to travel somewhere every month. I work hard. Wow. I need a break. So I decided that I wanted to be able to take weekend getaways at least 8 times a month, and take major trips 8 times a year. And
I'm about to say 8 times a month now, man. Put me on that plan, please.
I'm not doing no work if I'm doing 8 times a month, but 8 times a year, and four major trips in a year, but without having to break the bank doing so. I want everyday people who maybe they don't make, $200,000 or $300,000 plus per year to still be able to travel, even on their $50,000 salary, and still be able to travel well. So I developed some strategies and created a whole travel mastery class behind it, and take pictures and videos of my husband and I, how we take a weekend getaway. And we went to Atlanta, rented a convertible BMW, $0. $0. If you're not renting a convertible BMW and you want to for the weekend at $0, come on. But that's what it's about in terms of just being able to live life on your own terms. But that also doesn't mean you have to spend frivolously to do so.
Yeah. I love that you brought up the behaviors and the mindset, because I even think about kind of my own financial goals and my own financial vision. And this is so timely with this season, because this season is about, when we talk about driving the narrative of your career, to drive a narrative, you have to have a vision.
That's right.
So if we think about driving the narrative of your money, but I think about my own kind of trajectory, that for a long time, the mindset was, I need to make more money. I need to make more money. Whereas now I'm like, if I get rid of some debt, the money I got, I'll be balling out of control.
That's right.
So my whole mindset has shifted to, like, this year, all my consumer debt besides some student loans, that's going to take another year or two.
Right, right.
But all of my consumer debt will be paid off. And I just look at how that one thing, that quality of life that's going to bring me towards my vision for how I want to be experiencing my money. So I love this
That's
mindset
right.
piece. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But let's go back to some of these kind of fundamentals. In your work, you talk about the 5 key components of a good financial plan. Can you share a little bit about that for people that's listening?
Yes, yes. Well, so the pre to the financial plan is getting the money behavior in check. You can go and see some of the best financial advisors that can help you with the investing and all that stuff. But when it comes to the everyday stuff, like what you just addressed of this year, I'm knocking out the debt. If we don't get the money behavior piece, it won't matter how much debt we're getting rid of. We'll be right back in the same cycle all over again because we didn't get to the root of the behavior that caused us to be there in the first place. And a lot of times people don't even realize that. We kind of have a blind eye to that, not necessarily intentionally, but we just so used to our routine that sometimes we just don't really realize that there are small things that can become big things. You start out with a smaller amount of money, and if you don't fix the problems, you can have you can go from 50,000 to 200,000 and you're still going to have the same problem. It's just going to be a bigger problem. So the money behavior is really first. But beyond that, it's about the debt, obviously, but budget is first. So a lot of times people think of that as an ugly word. Do I have to really do a budget? Yes, you do. But let's change that. Let's change our thought process around that and not make it a negative thing, but rather think of it as your financial planning tool. Let me go consult my tool and see before I make any major decisions. Girl, I can go on that trip. Oh, that's fine. And you ain't even figured out how you're going to pay for it. Wait a minute. Let's go back and see. Let me look at my planning tool and see, can I do this before I just say yes to something and worry about it later? I see that commonly with a lot of people. Oh, I just figure it out later. No. That's not how we do things. So budget is first, which is really just, like I said, it's a planning tool for your money, really being able to understand, even down to just a piece of paper. It could be that simple of how much money am I bringing in? What is my paycheck? What are my bills? When are they due? And how much money do I need for groceries, for gas, for myself, for personal spending? All of those things, that's the simplistic form of what is a budget. Now, next is going to be savings, which sometimes people don't place a high enough value on savings. People get the right idea. Oh, I know I need to save money. So we might put away $25. I'm going to put aside $100 a paycheck, $300 a paycheck. It's kind of random number, not really with intention. When it comes to our money, we need to be intentional about everything, every aspect of it, including the budget, balancing down to zero. What's the plan for this check? So when it comes to savings, and I'll combine that with debt and credit, because that's number 3. Saving money is just as important as getting out of debt. We tend to have that backwards. We get extra money at tax time. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and pay off this, and this. But what if in the midst of paying off this, and this, you have an emergency and you didn't have any money saved? You didn't think it was important enough to set enough aside. Well, now we got to go back to the same credit card that we just paid off. And now we're back in the same cycle. We see that commonly. So we have to work on shifting our stinking thinking around not valuing savings enough. Or we make it optional sometimes. Oh, well, I didn't save $400 this month because I had to take care of such and such. Well, wait a minute. But you still got your hair done. What? Ooh. No. Ooh. We need I'm going to need you to put some more higher priority on the savings, because what if we get too comfortable? We think our job is going to be there forever because we done been there 20 years. So now we think that, there's no way I'm going to lose my job. Well, ask the current economy and all the government employees.
Hello.
About can we possibly lose a job? Never get too comfortable. That's why you got to have your savings be adequate and have your debt be under control. Now is absolutely the time for you to get your financial house in order. So as I stated, number 3 is debt and credit, because those go hand in hand. If you get rid of the debt, then of course your credit is going to improve over time. But it's also being aware of what's on your credit. Sometimes it's not reporting the same from one credit bureau to another. So you need to check all 3 and make sure that everything is accurate.
Yes.
Number 4 would be your insurances. When it comes to your life insurance, or if you're self-employed, maybe you need disability insurance, your long-term care, which kind of ties into retirement. When it comes to life insurance, a lot of times people are aware that they should have some life insurance, but I promise you, most of the time, 95% of the time, if I ask a person randomly, hey, what type of insurance do you have? The answer starts with, um, because they don't know. Most of the time, that I think it's a term, I think it's a whole life, and they really don't understand fully what they have. And if they do understand what the product is, they're not sure on how much coverage, there was a random number that they picked for coverage because it just sounded like a good number.
Yeah.
I got 100,000 for coverage and all of that stuff. So I won't deep dive too much on that today, but in general, that's number 4. And number 5 is retirement. We were meant to retire. That's what retirement means.
Man.
We were meant to retire at some point. Now, retirement doesn't mean that we just have to completely stop working and go sit on the front porch in the rocking chair for the rest of our lives.
Right.
It is positioning ourselves to have the choice, to be work optional. So that if the coworker, the boss, whoever got on your very last available nerve, you can be like, you know what? I'm out. I ain't even got to deal with that.
Yeah.
But it's important to make sure we understand how to plan for retirement. It's one thing to just put money in and you hope for an end result, keyword being hope. That's just putting money into a retirement account. That is not a retirement plan. And so these are all reasons why financial advisors exist, to help you be able to have the proper financial strategies and put your money in all of the right places to give you the best possible outcome, which again is what most people want, which is financial freedom. They want the ability to do what they want when they want. And what you said earlier was very key, which was we make the money, but what are we doing with the money? You know, we've had many cases of families where they're making 6 figures and we took the same money and we got a whole different turnaround in 6 to 12 months. It's like, man, how was this even the same family? Because it's what are we doing with the money?
Yeah. Now because I wanted to ask you about the retirement. This is heavy on the mind of many of our community members. And when we talked on our earlier call, you referenced the need for people to have a retirement budget. Can you share a little bit more about that and any other just top of mind points about retirement planning for Black women? Because I think that's a hot topic right now.
Yes, absolutely. So when we are thinking about retirement, as I just mentioned, it's important to have a retirement plan. You have to know what your number is. And what do I mean by that? We want to be able to retire at 55, at 60, 65. How much money do you need to be able to bring in the house? And based on the way you are currently contributing, are you going to meet that number? Sometimes we don't know to even set a number to even work towards. We just know I'm going to put this 500 per pay period, 3% of my salary. You know, those are our parameters because that's what's been brought to our attention, that we need to pick a number. But what do you pick the number based on? And so if we are not aware of how to do that, go through that proper process, then we just are hoping for an end result. We get to 60 and then people retire based on years of service. Oh, I'm going to have 30 years of service and I'm going to be retiring. But that does not equal financial readiness. So it's important to make sure in the process of that, you got your regular budget and then you have your retirement budget. Retirement budget is how much do I need? Some things are going to be different by the time you retire. Maybe you won't have the same debts. You won't have a car loan. Maybe the house will be paid off. Maybe you're moving somewhere else. Any number of things. So it is good to take the time to think through. And this is some of the things that we help our clients with to figure out what does that look like based on understanding what you want your retirement life to be. Let's see what number are we working towards. And then once we know, let's just say the number is $6,000. You know, I need at least $6,000 a month in retirement by age 65. That's another thing. You have to pick a number. And sometimes for women that, especially entrepreneurs, they have a hard time picking a number because they feel like I'm running a company. I'm probably going to work long term. I don't know that I have a set number. Again, it goes back to just having the power of choice. So pick a number. By 60, I want to be able to be in position to make work optional. And so once we know our age number and we know the amount that we want to work towards, now we have to do the calculation to figure out, based on me putting in currently 3% per paycheck, whatever, what number does that equal out to? So there are calculators, that are publicly available, retirement calculators where you can do that type of thing. Or again, you can get with a financial advisor that you trust that can help you do that analysis to make sure that because what you'll find is, oh man, well, I thought I was going to be close to $6,000 and I'm only going to be at $3,000 based on how I'm currently contributing. Wow. Well, you got to
Wow.
have time to course correct. So if you don't do this until you're 59 and saying you want to retire at 60, you might be
Ooh
going back
wee.
to work.
Ooh wee.
So you got to plan now, even in your 20s. When you first get your full-time job, yep, that's the time to start planning for retirement. Because from
Yeah.
the beginning, before you get used to living on that money, that's the time to say, all right, I know based on my lifestyle that I want to be able to have, I want to be able to live off of $8,000 a month. So how much do I need to contribute in order to get to that number later? Those are all things that can be planned for. None of it has to be guesswork.
Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, you getting us all the way together, ma'am. Okay. All the way together. All right. This is good. This is really good. I want to go back a little bit to talking about some of the behaviors and mindset.
Mm-hmm.
In kind of our Black woman leading context, we talk a lot about heart work and head work. And so head work would be all this tactical planning. Like, for instance, you were talking about getting the calculators, doing the calculations, setting your number. We would call that head work. But the heart work is really that mindset, that inner care, self-awareness, healing work. You know, sometimes we get some issues with money because of different experiences that have informed our behavior. Like
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned it. As soon as if your money hits your hand, you immediately got to spend it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's something to dig into.
Yeah.
So in thinking about that mindset or those behaviors, the inner stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
we would call heart work, what would you say from your perspective in doing this work with so many people is some of the heart work of establishing that solid financial plan?
So it's having a reality check with yourself.
Hmm.
We, excuse me, are sometimes in denial about things. And until we get to the point that what we want financial freedom more than we want to hold on to these behaviors that are
Hmm.
holding us back. That will people will continue to still be in the same cycle or get past the embarrassment, of the situation of where they are. Where
Yeah.
you are today is not at all guaranteed on how you have to be tomorrow. That's a choice. Being
Yeah.
broke is a choice. We can choose to do something different. But like you said, it starts with the heart work, and that is understanding, do we have emotional, do we make emotional decisions, emotional behavior, emotional eating? That's one of the things that I used to struggle with. And my go-to was Wendy's. Believe it or not,
Mm.
I had to have a Baconator combo. If someone got me upset, get me mad, I got to go and have a Baconator combo with a Coke. That was my go-to.
Mm.
And so people have these different things. Retail therapy is another one that we have to get over in our mental mindset of, I just go shop. They made me mad. They stressed me out. I'm going to the mall and
Yeah.
I'm just going to go spend. Or for some it's gambling. We've had some clients that have struggled with gambling. And all of that is emotional. It's tied around emotions of life and stress and
Yeah.
whatever is happening and going on around them. But there is help and there's hope for all of those things. But you got to want to. That's really
Yeah.
the first step, is being able to acknowledge that there is a problem. If you can't acknowledge, then you're not going to really get far at all. But if you can at least first say, you know what, I really do have a problem and I really do want to shift it, that's already opening your mind to the possibility of
Yeah.
change. So we've got to be
Yeah.
willing to take the hard step. One of the things that some clients that come see us, we often hear them talk about feeling anxiety around money, feeling embarrassed about their money. And I'm like, don't worry about it. That's just today. That's how you feel
Yeah.
today. That's why you're here. So we can have a different result for tomorrow. And I
Yeah.
promise you, every time they get through like the first couple sessions of, let me get all this stuff off my chest of everything that I've been feeling, but haven't been able to voice to anybody to get help that I need to get past it, then it's
Yeah.
like a weight has been lifted and a breath of fresh air. Because then once you can turn and shift, it takes a long time. You got to be willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
We didn't get in debt overnight. We didn't get into this situation overnight. Sometimes it's divorce. It's a number of things as to why we
Yeah.
got here.
Yeah.
But if we're willing to do the work, both mentally and the physical work on the numbers, that shift is absolutely amazing. It's a lifestyle
Yeah.
change, but it takes time, because you have to, when we see clients, as they go through our process, their life situations still come up. So that allows us the opportunity to address some of the issues that they've been having. If their normal tendency is, oh, well, I just make a decision and my friend asked me to go on this trip, so I just decided to go. Well, wait, what did you look at your
Yeah.
planning to? Did you, so we're able to kind of work through those situations in real time because it's a journey and people just have to be patient. But emotional, retail, all of that stuff all ties in, anxiety, all of that. But again, the first step is acknowledgement, acknowledging that I have a problem and I want to be able to make that shift and get it changed.
Yeah, and I might need to get some help, as you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
The acknowledgement is for some people to be able to acknowledge and then recourse correct. They're able to do that.
That's
some
right.
people might need some reinforcements, and there's no shame in that.
That's right.
As you were talking, one of the things that really struck me, especially when you referenced the emotional eating, because that's been a part of my learning journey and my health journey as well. And I remember I worked with a dietitian. So this is speaking to getting some help. Sometimes that outside view of an expert who is not knee deep in the stuff. So they don't have all the emotional attachments.
That's right.
And they can help you to get out of that. So the financial advisor, whoever those folks are. And we have an episode from last season with Coach Leah, who we did a whole episode on your team. Who are some of the financial money team members? Because depending on what it is, it might be an advisor, it might be someone else, right?
That's
but
right.
To the point, I remember I was working with a dietitian, realizing, okay, this emotional eating and stuff, I'm having some stuff, I need some support with this. So I started working with a dietitian. And what was really powerful, she helped me. She gave me an assignment to really start writing down the thoughts behind when I did the emotional eating, and so this might be helpful if you are struggling with maybe one of those emotional responses to how you were dealing with your money.
Right.
It wasn't to judge it. It wasn't to analyze it. She said, just write down in that moment when you realize what that you're doing. You eating these cookies because you feel stressed or because you feel bored. Just write down the feeling that you have, right? And so I did that exercise, and a lot of I did that over about a week. A lot of the themes that was coming back, and you said it, somebody stressed me out. This was a long day. I deserve this. I have earned this. These people have worked my nerves. I deserve this. It was a lot of that kind of language. And so when we did the debrief, there was two things that really kind of jumped out at me that has been really transformative for me on that particular issue. One, she helped me to think about what exactly do you deserve? What is it that you deserve? And how is this cookie offering that? So and it sounds ridiculous as I'm saying it now, but what I was saying is I deserved a break.
Yeah.
I deserved release.
Yeah.
I deserved joy. I deserve all of these things. But then when we looked at, and my thing was sugar, sweet sugar, which we know that's real bad for you anyway. What I realized is that when we looked at why I came to a dietitian in the first place, because the effect and the consequence of these things I deserve was not giving me that. It was not giving me joy. It was not giving me peace. And so when I really broke that down, it was like, you right, sis. This half pack of cookies didn't give me no joy. It gave me 10 more pounds. And now I'm depressed because I can't fit my pants, right? So thinking about those thoughts that's underneath is a really powerful exercise with your money too. Like as soon as that money hits your hand and you get to spend, and you depressed afterwards, what was you seeking there that didn't do it for you? And then the other thing that was really powerful, because she didn't just take me down in the gutter, she brought me back up after I had that awareness.
Yeah.
She said, okay, so if you deserve joy, if you deserve peace, sometimes it was like an emotional release that I needed because I was stressed. We started to think, well, what are some of the other ways that you can get this emotional release? And so one thing that was so powerful, I started to look at the trends. I kept that food journal for that week, right? And it was in that afternoon, that 3:00 period, where I would go and be raiding the kids little Debbie snacks and all this kind of stuff. And she said, it sounds like you need some energy. It sounds like you need some connection, but it's different types of energy. So she said, tomorrow, don't go for the cookie. My husband is an entrepreneur too. So one half of the basement is my side, my office. The other half is his studio. He's a musician and producer.
Okay.
She said, tomorrow, Don't go eat the cookie at 3. Go over there and bug your husband, spend 10 minutes with him, hold his hand, talk to him about his day, and then see if that provided the thing. It did. It did. It was an emotional energy, a
Wow.
connection. And I started bugging that man every afternoon. We had a little afternoon break. We sit on our patio, hold hands, talk about our day. And I didn't need the cookies after that.
Nice.
So I just give that, you all, that none of this awareness, even as Breanna is passionately telling you, sis, you got your hair done, but even as she is passionately telling you that, the underlying thing is we gotta examine the why, y'all. We gotta examine what are we trying. If we really desire this freedom that she's talking about, but our behaviors are anti to this, we got to get up underneath that thing to see what is happening. Because you could do all the budgeting in the world, but if you're gonna burn that money soon as it hit the hand, we're gonna have to talk about something else. So okay, I digress. That's
That was
therapist
good, though.
Laura
That was
coming on
good.
out. Come on back, therapist Laura. Come on back. Okay. So let me ask you this question on career, and then I do want to save a couple of minutes to ask you some of our season questions around our theme. But we're talking about this driving the career, and we know our money is deeply kind of connected to that. So in your experience, Breanna, with all the people you've supported, your team has supported, how can Black women use financial planning as a tool to drive their career paths and their life choices? Like, what is some of that connection that you've seen in your work with people?
So what I've seen, because we have had some clients that are running a company, they're running a small business, but also trying to take care of things personally. If you're raggedy in your personal finances, you're going to be raggedy in your business finances. All of that ties together. So having a financial plan is really going to bring a full circle moment, all the way around, from just understanding from my company standpoint, how much can I afford to pay myself? Things like that come up when people are starting businesses, or they're already been running the businesses and they're good at making the money and all of that stuff, but not necessarily maximizing even on the business. So it is important to be able to have that understanding, and the financial planning process is going to help with that. Understanding how much do I need to run my house personally, but also how much can the business support that and support itself? Can the business afford to pay me what I need to pay? But it's also for some that are making the shift from being the worker bee to owning a business and wanting to run it full time. That transition is crucial in making sure that you have a financial plan before you jump ship from the full-time job. Making sure that you have, in my opinion, eliminated as much debt as possible and have as many cash reserve months as you can. Because when you're starting a business and you ask any person running a business, it's like jumping into the deep end of the pool, and without a life jacket. So you've got to create your life jacket before you get in the pool. And so it's important to make sure. That's one of the mistakes that I made early on in my career. I was so excited and eager to get out of accounting and make this career shift to finance that I was, I made money a little bit, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be good. We great, and then jumped out there, not really calculating or thinking about what about the low months. You just started this business. You don't even know what are your low months, what are your high months, what's driving that. When do you get more clients? Are things shifting seasonally? All of those things tie into your financial planning process. And so if I had it to do all over again and tell my younger self, I'd be saying, hey, look, girl, don't leave that job before you have at least 6 to 12 months of your monthly expenses saved up. And if you can, get completely out of debt. And if that means you don't know how to do that on your own, then seek the financial professional to help you. And it's important on that note to make sure that you talk to more than one person. Everybody's not your person. You mentioned earlier about building your team, and you want to have a financial person that's going to help you with a financial plan. You don't know what a good financial advisor is for you if you don't talk to more than one person. So just because your friend referred you to someone doesn't mean that person is right for you. Talk to them, see if they're willing to ask questions. You'll know, let the Lord lead you. You'll definitely know if you're comfortable with that person. And if you feel like what they offer is in line with the goals that you're trying to seek. But having that financial plan from the beginning is going to carry you forward, not just for the day-to-day stuff, but also for helping you do projections, for helping you to invest the business funds properly so the business can continue to grow and thrive
Yeah.
and scale. All of that stuff ties into proper financial planning, both personally and professionally.
So we know we have, a lot of people who are moving to entrepreneurship, but we also have quite a few people that are just looking to advance within their careers, looking to advance as an employee somewhere. So do you have some insights as well on how they might use financial planning as a tool to really help them to guide their career decisions as well?
Yes, definitely. If you are just moving as an executive in your office, or you're just moving up the ladder on your career path, if you will, the financial planning process is still beneficial for you because it's helping you as we grow and evolve. We're going to constantly have more goals that we want to be able to achieve, both outside and inside of work, whether that's going up the ladder as far as I want to be able to become supervisor of such and such, or it's just personal things of I want to be able to travel more. I want to be all those things still tie together, whether you are just working as a 9 to 5 person or whether you are self-employed. You still have goals. So whatever the goals are, a financial advisor is going to help you to be able to think strategically on how to put the pieces of the puzzle together for that. So for some, it might be, well, hey, I'm thinking I might want to move to a different state and take a different job in that state because it's going to advance my career. Well, what should I be thinking about? Well, now you own a home where you are. Am I going to sell this house? Is it better for me to rent this house? What kind of analysis should I be thinking about to make the proper decisions pertaining to that? So there's a lot of different things that a good advisor can help you have more insight about to make better choices. It's raising your financial awareness. It's helping
Yeah.
you to think through with my 401k or my TSP. If I change jobs, well, what should I do with those funds? I just left the job. Should I leave them there? Should I roll them over? What should I roll them over to? What should I consider before I roll them over? All of those types of things that people don't always think through will help raise your awareness so that you can make good decisions. It's not for us to tell you what to do, but it's for us to educate you on what you have and the things that you need to consider. And when you understand it, now you have a raised awareness, you feel more empowered, and now you can make better choices. We have people that make choices, but they don't necessarily make the best choices financially because they didn't have all the proper information. And sometimes we don't know what questions to ask. That's sometimes the problem. So when it comes to even just our retirement accounts, I've encountered many women and men really who, if I ask, well, do you monitor your investments? Do you look at your 401k? Well, I just look to see if it made money. Sometimes we treat it like it's somebody else's account and we were just taking a glance at it. We don't take ownership of it. Like, this is my money and I actually better start understanding what's going on in this account if I actually want to be able to have a certain amount of money in a later in life. So all of those things are just a little bit of a snapshot of what a financial advisor can help you with.
Yeah, that's good. So let's say this is really resonating with someone who's listening. They're looking to become financially unstoppable. What would you recommend as a first step to start on this journey?
So first steps, here's a practical thing. And we do this with our clients, but you can certainly do it on your own as a practical thing, which is being aware of where is your money going. We have so many people who are debit card users and we get used to swipe, not cash and carry. And because it's convenient, it's just, I can tap and go, all of that stuff. But it gives us a false sense of what we're spending. And especially in cases where people don't have a written budget and aren't keeping track of what's going where and all of that. So before you know it, it feels like, it was just $15. It was just $25. It was just $35. And before you know it, it's like, dang, I was spending $500 on that. What?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we have as homework with some of our clients. And they always come back. I call it the come to Jesus meeting. That's our joke because they come to the meeting like, oh my God. I said, how was the homework process? Oh my gosh, Breanna. Oh, I did not realize, And before you know it, it's like, dang, no wonder I ain't got no money because I got
Right.
$3,000 going to nonsense, per month. And so that rate, that alone is like a turning point for people mentally, of just raised awareness, just that
Yeah.
simple of, man, I didn't realize what I was doing. And now that I know, I got to pull back from Starbucks, start giving them all my money, stop giving
Yeah.
Amazon money every day of the week. They know me by
Ooh,
name.
Amazon. Ooh, you need to now. So you getting carried away now. You getting carried now. Just playing.
Like, oh my gosh, Amazon, 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 Amazon. What in the
Right,
world?
right,
So,
right.
so that's a simple step one that people can do towards becoming financially unstoppable is, where is your money going? You
Tracking
need to
it.
know,
Yeah.
where are you wasting money? And that is
Yeah.
going to tell you, do that for 2 months, the past 2 months. And then that'll give you, that's going to already open your eyes to see, okay, all right, I need to pull back here, pull back there,
Yeah.
but that's a simple one that you can do whether
Yeah.
you're working with an advisor or not.
Yeah, that's powerful. I did that exercise for my business and found all these subscriptions. At some point you were using this service, some point you were using this service.
Yeah.
And I don't like to have monthly bills, so I do a lot of things either quarterly or annually. And I had to go back and look through because there's stuff that's done, cycled again for the subscription, and we're not even using that stuff no more. So you forget about it, especially when you're not paying monthly. You forget about
Right.
it. The money was in there. You go
Yep.
back to do your end of the month look, and you like, we haven't used that service in 6 months, but you never stopped the subscription, right? So great exercise for business side or personal side. Okay, this is good. I do want to ask you one or two of our core questions, but to just wrap up this kind of becoming financially unstoppable, so much to unpack here. We could talk all day on this stuff. Is there any kind of final
Yes.
notes you want to say on this, just to kind of bring our topic to a close on this?
Whatever you want is achievable and possible with a solid financial plan. Really. I mean, people have things on, think about what you have on your goal list. That how long has the thing been on your goal list? How long have you been wanting to do XYZ? And what has been stopping you? What's been stopping you? That's the question to ask yourself. I don't really have an answer to that. Whatever the answer is, I'm here to tell you that what you want is possible with a solid financial plan. That's the bottom line.
Okay, so let me just take one or two questions on our core seasons theme. So we always, of course, want to hear your expertise, which you brilliantly shared with us today, but we also want to get a little inspiration from you as a Black woman leading that we can look to. So season 7 theme is about driving the narrative of your career. And just as we've been talking about with our money, it's about setting that vision for what we want to experience professionally, setting the goals and things to go after that, advocating for ourselves to get the resources we need to support us. So I'd love to ask you, Breanna, can you just share and inspire our listeners of maybe a professional vision or career vision that you set for yourself and that you were able to achieve? And what was some of the things that supported you to realize that vision?
So my vision was for this company actually was that I wanted to be able to help the everyday person who would not ordinarily pick up the phone and say, I need a financial advisor. And not that, I don't want the Lord to bless me with the people that's doing well and got the millions of dollars, but I wanted to, it started being birthed from my own financial experience. In college, I didn't grow up learning about money. And I had not 3, not 5, but 7 credit cards in college. In fact, it was so bad that my husband, my now husband, who was I was dating then, almost didn't marry me because of my debt.
Wow.
And so it was serious business. But we ended up getting married anyway, obviously, and we worked together to get out of debt. But later on, we were still learning because we didn't grow up learning about money. We had some bad financial experiences in the mortgage industry when we first bought our house, et cetera. And I remember saying to myself, if I ever go into the financial industry, I'm going to know how to treat my customers. And that
Wow.
was before I got to that point. And so with our own experiences, there was just this burning passion inside of me that I just felt like, I need to be able to help us to have a trusted source in the industry to help us dissect things we don't understand and to help us to be able to move forward financially. We don't have to be held back. I want to be part of that change.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, while I was still working in accounting, I remember writing out many times on notebook paper, like all these different ways, trying to figure out, like, I know I want to help people with their finances, but how can I monetize this? Like, I can't do it for free. How can I monetize?
Yeah.
So I would write out all these different ways. Maybe if I charge $25, maybe if I charge $50, trying to figure it out. And it was a vision. That's the way it started. And I got the first opportunity in 2007 with my pastor when I told him that I wanted to do a financial boot camp with the church. And he only knew me at that time in the capacity of music because I was a worship leader at the church. He didn't
Wow.
know anything about me on the financial side. And I had prayed about it way before then, before asking him, and asked the Lord to lead me and let me know when was the right time to talk to him. Because I see him every Sunday, but I wanted it to be the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
time. So I did. The Sunday came, I asked him, and he said, "Oh, you do?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, well, talk to Sister so and so and so and so," and they let me do it. That January, that following January, the first 6-month financial boot camp was born, and we had just over 100 people attend
Wow.
that first 6-month financial boot camp. We had there was a married couple that was over the stewardship ministry, and they taught the spiritual aspects of money, and then I taught everything else. As far as, we went down the line and talking about mortgage and about budget and just all the different
Yeah.
financial topics. So that was the beginning of
Wow.
what has now grown into a full-blown company where the vision has actually been realized, and the majority of our clients are those people who was a financial advisor was not on their radar, but because
Wow.
they've been hearing about us and hearing from their friends or their coworkers about what changes have happened in their life and how they've been able to get out of debt and been able to retire well and this and that. It is just, it blows my mind every time I think about it, like what's possible and how God did it. And that this whole vision, has come to pass. Like, and now I got a team of people that I
Yeah.
get to train to do the same thing. Like, wow, God, wow, what a blessing.
What a blessing. Look, you better write the vision and make it plain,
Come on
ma'am. I
here.
love
Come
it.
on.
I love it. Okay, one more for you. Because part of this driving the narrative of our career requires self-advocacy. Sometimes we got to open up our mouth and ask for something. So can you share about a time where professionally you had to advocate for yourself and what emboldened you to be able to do that, and what was the outcome?
Last year, actually, about a year ago, I had one of the companies that we do business with. I went to them and asked about assistance with marketing dollars because I'm doing a lot of business with you. We've done business with you consistently over the years, and we know that some of the companies provide marketing dollars to help with events and whatnot because it's bringing more business to them.
Yeah.
And so it was for a particular event that I was having, and the answer was no. I asked for a specific amount, and rather than them just coming back maybe with a counter offer, or maybe we'll give you some pins for your event or some notepads for your attendees or something, the answer was just straight up no. And I was really, really taken aback by the whole thing. So much so that I went on strike and stopped writing business with them for a year. I was like,
Wow.
I'm just going to stop writing because I can't believe that, this is how you show your appreciation. Yet I bet you would bend over backwards for others that don't look like me. And
Yeah.
so time passed, and the one of the reps from the company had been reaching out to me, and I was ignoring the calls for a long time. And then one day I decided, you know what, I got to man up, woman up, and have this conversation. So I did. I had a heart-to-heart talk with that person and said, hey, I really was bothered a lot by how the company responded based on, my request, because I have seen other people with other companies where they, write business and, they'll help them with events, da, 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 da. So he apologized profusely and wanted to know, what could we do to make things better and this and that. And so we've turned the corner on that situation, but it was important that I did say something because I need to pave the way for others. Once again, as a Black female, getting treated differently than some of
Yeah.
my other people that are in the industry. And so now I'm back to writing business with that company. And so the story is still continuing, but
Yeah.
I have noticed that there is a difference. I think that I have made my point of I'm not going to stand for just being treated any kind of way. If you want me
Yeah.
to, if you appreciate me and you value what I bring to the table, show me that and treat me the same as you treat everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love it. Look, I know what I'm bringing to the table, right? Okay. You need to match that energy. Okay. I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
This is good. This has been so good, Breanna. I really appreciate you coming and sharing your wisdom and your insights. Can you share with our listeners where they can connect with you? And if you have anything, special, exciting going on that you want to tell people about?
Yes, I am on social media. You can look me up using the @ at I am Breanna Colón on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. The @ and it's BRE, as you can see my name on display there, BreannaColon, Breanna Colón. My personal brand website is my name, BreannaColón.com. And there you will find access to my podcast, Your Life, Your Money with Breanna Colón. As she mentioned earlier, the podcast is a lot of the podcast episodes are some of our clients who have actually been through this journey and
Awesome.
are talking about where they were in relation to where they are now and that type of thing as well. And our corporate website is www.integrityfsi.com for Financial Solutions Incorporated. As Laura mentioned earlier, I am also managing partner for Right Time Financial, and that's where we do our other more advanced financial planning strategies and investments and life insurance, et cetera. All of that stuff takes place there. So we really are a one-stop financial shop when it comes to that type of thing. Now, you asked about exciting events coming up. We do have a debt elimination webinar that's going to be coming up. We have not set a date for it yet, so it's going to be good for you to go to my website, BreannaColón.com, and sign up so you can stay informed, because that
Yes.
will be forthcoming in April. But it is a debt elimination. We have a debt program, and so we're doing a debt elimination webinar about that. It's free to attend, and that will be upcoming. We also have a college we're preparing for in May. We're going to do something for those that are graduating from college, juniors and seniors, really,
Love
to
that.
just raise financial awareness. So that's also going to be forthcoming. These are things that we just finished talking about in some of our previous meetings. So again, the dates have not been set, but I'm putting it in your ear so that you can
Yes.
prepare and just stay close. So the information will be forthcoming. But if you're attached to me on social media, you're going to see it because we're going to put it everywhere. People like the word free. We offer free 15-minute consultations. So if you have any questions related to your finances, whether professionally or personally, for your business or personal, you can do a 15-minute consult with us. And you can do that through our website on the integrityfsi.com website. On the Contact Us page, you can request to get
Perfect.
scheduled for a free 15-minute consult that'll allow us to get an overview of what you're looking for, what questions you have, and that's free advice for 15 minutes.
Hey, hey, hey. We like free. We like free. Check that out, you all. And all the links will be in the show notes as well. And then, of course, if this was helpful to you, share this information with a friend, you all. We want to be financially unstoppable together, the whole community, the whole family. So share this information with a friend. We're on all streaming platforms, and we're on YouTube now, y'all, too. So you can catch our full episodes on YouTube as well. If you want to connect with us, we're at Black Woman Leading. Woman is singular, at Black Woman Leading on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can connect with me personally at Laura E. Knights. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn. And then, of course, you can visit our website at www.blackwomanleading.com to learn about events and programs and things we have going on as well. If you're interested in learning about the leadership development work we do in corporations, you can check out our corporate site at www.knightsconsultinggroup.com. We would love to connect with you in any of these ways. And until next time, be well.